Alright, this is my walkthrough for my DB10 change password. Okay, we're going to start here at the top and initialize some variables. Input username is going to take the input that the program user is going to give, the input that the program user gives for their password. The string right here is the connection string for the SQL server. This bool right here I created just to set a flag if the user is authenticated or not. It starts out as false and doesn't change unless the user actually is authenticated. Alright, this is strings for the SQL data that's going to be imported. I changed it from the last way it was set up to make it work a little bit better. Alright, 33 is going to declare MySQL connection. 34 asks the user to enter username. 35 receives the input from the user and stores it as input username. 36 asks the user to enter a password. 37 through 39 asks user to enter a password, but it also changes the color. I kind of did that just as a thing to do. Right here, 40 creates a blank line. All right, 42 and down is going to attempt to try to open a SQL connection. It's going to set this reader value as null. It's going to form the SQL statement. This line right here prepares the SQL statement. This right here, these two lines right here bind the variables from here to the ones that were inputted up here. This right here executes the SQL statement. While the SQL statement is being executed, it retrieves the username from the SQL server. If the username does not equal the inputted username, which means if it doesn't return the input, then it writes login failed to the screen. But it only return this input if the username and the password was correct. So now if it doesn't give this back, it sets the user authentication bool to true, which means the user is authenticated. All right, we have some error catching right through here. Then we come to another if user is authenticated statement. So if that bool is true, then this if statement runs. Now what this if statement does is sends out a new SQL request and requests the user data that was asked for before. So whatever username that the user inputted at the top is used to retrieve this data at the bottom. It also does some date time conversions. And then some more error catching at the end. This line right here sets up a new user object using the user class. And I'll show you that in a minute. After it instantiates, however you say that word, it goes to this change user password, and I'll show you that in the user class. All right, we're here in the user class. We've got these variables that it's set up first. I changed that from the last way it was too. So when it takes this, creates this new user, right? It takes the fields that were inputted up top from the SQL server and transfers them into these. And then this right here equals that from this string. So these strings right here are inputted from this string. And then it tells the user created as an object. And that was just kind of a carryover from the other one. You've got your getters and setters. Still kind of cloudy on these, but I'll figure it out. And then you've got this statement right here, which I don't think is called. I just kind of left it in there as a as for demo purposes. So I can take that back out. Okay, so we get the program, and then we get this change user password. And what that's going to do is it's going to print the current password, which I did just for kind of debug purposes, which I can take out. Initiate two string temporary variables. Ask the user to enter a new password, do some security things right here. Take the user input, enters password 1, ask the user to enter password again, take that as 2, compares 1 and 2. If they're the same, then it sets the password to equal the tempass2, which is up here. So basically what it does is it takes the original password, resets it, and enters a new one up here in the strings that were the data that was imported from the SQL. It doesn't actually reset it in the SQL. If it does not, if the passwords don't match, then it shoots out don't match, and then it goes back and ends the program. So we'll go ahead and start without debugging. Because who debugs? Nobody debugs. That's crazy talk. Oh, come on, Windows Virtual Machine. You can do it. I have faith in you. You may be a virtual machine, but you're still a machine. I'm going to go ahead over here and select this guy. M45308. Okay. Okay, so what I did is I selected this username, and I pretty much have this password memorized. 45308. Okay, so what I'm going to do is wait for this. Okay. Paste that, enter, and I don't have this memorized. M45308. M45308. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. New password equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. I can run this again if you need me to. Mario. See, login failed. And that's it. Alright. I'm probably going to edit this just a little bit before I post the code.